supervillain is not a good look on you, Fray. Trust me.
This is who I am.
We all know that cramming 6 long novels into just 3 seasons of TV is no easy task, so it's no surprise that Shadowhunters had to leave out some book storylines along the way. That being said, a former star of the show recently weighed in on the idea of bringing the fan-favorite Supernatural series back for season 4. In an exclusive interview while promoting her movie There's Something Wrong with the Children, Wainwright shared her thoughts on the possibility of a revival, so let's dive into everything we know about it. Alicia Wainwright talks about how Shadowhunters still has a strong fan base, with people continuing to connect with the series. But when it comes to bringing it back, things are way more complicated than they seem. She mentions that she's not even sure who owns the rights anymore because it's all tangled up in legal and distribution deals. She does know that some of the cast members regularly show up at conventions if fans want to see them. But as much as she'd love a reunion, it's just not that simple. Too many people would have to agree to make it happen, and honestly, it doesn't look very likely. That doesn't mean Shadowhunters doesn't mean a lot to her though. She learned so much from working on the show, and it's heartbreaking to see fans hoping for a comeback when she knows how difficult that would be. Every time the show trends on Twitter, she feels the love, but she also knows the reality. Getting all the right people to sign off on it is a massive challenge. As much as she'd love to see everyone together again, it's just not something she sees happening. The right situation is a big part of the problem. Shadowhunters was produced by Constantin Film, a German company that also made the Mortal Instruments movie. The series itself was a collaboration between multiple studios, which makes ownership even more complicated. It's likely that Constantin Film still holds the rights, but there could be other studios involved as well. That means for a revival to even be considered, Constantin would have to be interested, and they'd also have to navigate whatever contracts exist with other production companies. So while fans still hold on to hope for a 4th season or a movie, the reality is that the ownership situation makes it tricky and probably expensive. That said, TV revivals would have surprised us before, so while it's unlikely, it's not completely impossible. The Shadowhunters finale did a solid job of wrapping things up, but also set the stage for what could come next. Alec became the Inquisitor of the Clave and married Magnus, who took on the role of High Warlock of Alicante. Isabel stepped up as the head of New York Institute, and Simon, now a Downworlder deputy, was by her side. Meanwhile, Luke reclaimed his status as Shadowhunter, leaving Maya in charge of the werewolf pack. Everyone got their happy ending except Clary. She lost all her Shadowworld memories, and Jace was left unable to move on. But in the final moments, Clary recognized Jace, hinting that all hope wasn't lost. That moment alone could have set up some really interesting storylines if the show had continued. A revival could explore Clary slowly regaining her memories and earning back the Angels' trust. It would also be fascinating to see how the Shadow World functions now that a new generation is in charge. And of course, there would have to be a new threat, something that brings the old team back together and gives Clary a chance to prove she deserves to be a Shadowhunter again, if that's what she really wants. When the show ended after season 3, it was a shock to the showrunners Darren Swimmer and Todd Slavkin. They had planned for some storylines to play out over multiple seasons, but they had to wrap things up quickly. One of the biggest moments they had to rush was Clary's final scene with Jace. Originally, Clary wasn't supposed to lose her memory at all. That was something they added once they knew the show was ending. If season 4 had happened, her story would have focused on healing from the Dark Clary arc, dealing with all the guilt from what she had done, and slowly finding her way back to normal with Jace's help. The goal was to finally give Clary and Jace a chance at a somewhat normal relationship, or at least as normal as things get in the Shadowhunters world. Another big storyline that got cut short was Simon and Izzy's romance. The original plan was to have them share a big kiss at the end of season 3, followed immediately by Izzy being consumed by fire. That would have set up a whole season 4 arc about healing Izzy and letting their relationship build even more slowly. In a weird way, fans actually got lucky because with the rushed ending, they got more closure on Simon and Izzy's relationship than they would have otherwise.
Come on.
Sorry I'm late. Traffic was hell.
The showrunners also had big plans for Jonathan and the Seelie Queen, but those got scrapped when the show ended. In the books, their relationship is much deeper and more drawn out, but the show had to cut things short, leading to both of their deaths in season 3. They had originally planned to keep the Seelie Queen around for a full season, gradually exploring her dynamic with Jonathan. Instead, they had to speed things up, which meant losing a lot of the complexity they had hoped to show. If season 4 had happened, it would have also focused more on supporting characters and villains like Lilith, giving them longer story arcs. Because the show ended so suddenly, a lot of potential storylines were either rushed or dropped completely. That's why part of the showrunners have said they'd be open to a reunion movie or a limited series if the right deal could be made. So while a full season 4 isn't looking likely, a smaller project could still be possible if everything lined up just right. Adapting 6 books into just 3 seasons was always going to be a challenge, and as a result, a lot of the book storylines never made it to the screen. Even though the show captured the biggest moments, like Clary and Jace's relationship, Valentine and Jonathan's rise to power, and the battle between the Shadowhunters and demonic forces, there were plenty of details left out. Some of those missing storylines were actually really important, not just for Shadowhunters, but for other books in Cassandra Clare's universe. For example, the show barely touched on Jace's Arendelle connections. In the books, his last name isn't just a random twist, it has a huge significance. His family ties connect him to characters like Brother Zachariah and Emma Carstairs, who are important in other Shadowhunter series. Since the show didn't dive into those connections, it missed an opportunity to tease spin-offs like the Infernal Devices. Another major storyline that got left out was the Endarkened Shadowhunters. In the books, Jonathan uses demon blood to corrupt other Shadowhunters, turning them into his loyal soldiers. This made his war against the Shadowhunters even more intense, but since the show didn't include them, Jonathan's army felt much smaller in comparison. At the end of the day, Shadowhunters did a solid job bringing the mortal instruments to life, but there's no denying that the cancellation left a lot of unfinished business. While a full season 4 might not be in the cards, a movie or a limited series could give fans the closure they're still hoping for. And who knows, if fan demand stays strong, anything is possible. And that's all we have to say about season 4. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. If anything new comes up, you'll be the first to know. We'll keep you updated, so stay in the loop. Give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it. See you in the next one.
We've got this.
We've got this?